Welcome back, IWC. Welcome back, pro wrestling fans and the wrestling community. It's me. It's the GOC coming to you live to tape here from Chaos Corner for another episodic YouTube adventure on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel for Chaos Corner. It's story time. So you know what that means. Kick back and relax. Give a little eye poke or an elbow drop, or pick up your chair and smash that like button. Share, subscribe. Tap that bell for all notifications. Nobody works harder for you than I do. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans. It's story time. Let me know how you're doing. Much love and respect. I hope everyone's feeling okay. It's a beautiful day out. It's a beautiful week. Shout out to the OTS Tribal Queen. I acknowledge you. And of course, my brother from another mother, Austin Nance. Let's jump right into it. The rise and fall of the Fat Chick Thriller. No offense to my almost 50% demographic here on the channel that is female. That's right, there's only two genders, male and female. Half the demographic here just about is women. So guys, if you're not here or telling your buddies or the boys, your brothers, whatever's going on, I don't know what the fuck to tell you, because you're missing out, man. This isn't a podcast. It's a show. You never know what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to play. As a true content creator, navigate the playlists. Over 4,000 videos. That's right. Let's get on to the rise and fall of the Fat Chick Thriller. Before he became a household name in the land of extreme, Mike Alfonso was making a name for himself overseas for Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling, aka FMW, as the Gladiator. As he jumped around between Japan and Philadelphia, he would be 10 years since his debut in 1989 that Mike Awesome would awesome splash his way into the hardcore world of Extreme Championship Wrestling. They say the third time is a charm. And upon his arrival for his third stint in ECW, Mike Awesome shocked the loyal fan base and the world by winning the ECW World Heavyweight Championship in a three-way dance against the reigning champion Taz, who at that time, if you remember, was on his way to the WWE, and his arch rival dating back to his FMW days, konnichiwa, bitches, arigato from the Chaos-san, Masato Tanaka. Despite his simple black trunks and his silly mullet hairstyle, which I can't make fun of if you go to the personal videos here, especially on the shorts, I had the mullet back in the day, early 90s, late 80s. Don't hold it against me, man. With his mullet hairstyle, which easily could have landed him a role as a third member of the Rock and Roll Express, Awesome destroyed his opponents using an arsenal of moves, some that would make a cruiserweight jealous, and some as such as the Awesome Bomb, where he would take a helpless opponent, throw him over the top rope, and through a table. That made him a major force in ECW. In spring of 2000, the 300-pound luchador made yet another shocking, that's right, I say shocking, appearance. Listen up. Take out your notebooks. This time on a much larger scale, attacking Kevin Nash during a WCW Monday Nitro. His assault on Big Sexy was certainly not the surprise, but the fact that he was still the reigning ECW World Heavyweight Champion. That certainly was the surprise. After refusing to resign, with ECW, the high-flying big man was set to make his mark for Ted Turner's World Championship Wrestling. April 13th, 2000, Awesome made wrestling history in the most indescribable way. The ECW World Champion and WCW employee dropped the title to Taz, who at the time was employed by the WWE at an ECW event. Are you writing this down? It would be the first and only time during the heyday of the Monday Night Wars that a WWE guy would face a WCW guy, and ironically, it was for the ECW title. Kind of like how AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, WWE now, TNA, whatever. Kind of like trying to recopy history always repeats itself. Go with what works. You guys remember this, right? Upon entering WCW, Awesome was thrust into the ill-fated New Blood versus Millionaires Club, the squabble that resulted in feuds with Hulk Hogan, who traded in his trademark red and yellow for the not-so-merchandisable FUNB attire, if any of you even remember that. Wow. As well as Diamond Dallas Page. Within a month of his debut in WCW, it would be after an incident in which he tossed Chris Kanyon from a cage that he adopted his often imitated career killer persona, i.e., Randy Orton, Chris Jericho. Can you think of any off the top of your head? The rise of Mike Awesome, from his days in Japan as the Gladiator to his immediate push for a global recognized wrestling promotion, was at an all-time high. That is, until WCW labeled him with the proverbial American Dream polka dots and starred billing him as the fat chick Thriller. You guys remember this, right? The fat chick Thriller. And if you don't remember this and Mike Awesome, that's why I'm here to bring it back to you. That's why this is story time. That's why if you miss these Chaos Corner shows, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I don't know what I'm going to tell you. The fat chick Thriller. No offense, man. It's a story. Kayfabe. A gimmick focused less on wrestling talent and more on his lust for heavy-set women. Awesome's in-ring abilities were unmatched for a big man, so it's simply unforgivable that his foray onto the big stage was shrouded in so many lame wrestling personas, such as the uncritically acclaimed answer to the fat chick Thriller disaster, that 70s guy. That 70s guy. Could you come up with two worse gimmicks for a guy who I could compare to, but on a better level, because he's booked like garbage? Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk Monster. I mean, that was awesome, but with 5 times more talent and 10 times the better booking until this. That 70 guys was terrible. The fat chick Thriller, for as funny as it was no better. Lame. This is like late 80s, early 90s cartoons with WWF, which was better, or the horrible booking character days of the Oz and all that in WCW and the Shockmaster in the early 2000s. I mean, that's what I could compare it to. Oh, wait, not the early 2000s. Let me retract. I like to own it when I have to, when I'm wrong. I'll eat crow. Speaking of crows, you know they're one of the smartest birds on the planet? Don't underestimate the crow. The early 90s is what I meant as far as those crazy gimmicks of the Shockmaster and Oz and every other different lame excuse they came up with in WCW. So all the big three had their times with these gimmicks. Some of the bookers and people really had their writers and producers had their heads up their ass. That's why now in this day, every single match or whatever has 2 or 3 producers. I mean, where have we gone? Where are the great minds like Dusty Rhodes and Cowboy Bill Watts and Eddie Graham and Fritz von Erich, aka Jack Atkinson, Gary Hart, the Gorilla Monsoon? The list goes on and on of people that I can talk to. Heck, even Vern Gagne. Oh, brother. An obvious reference to his... An obvious reference to the hit series That 70s Show. Awesome appeared on WCW's Thursday Thunder program, the least watched wrestling show, kind of like AEW Rampage, this side of WWE's Sunday Night Heat. Although both of those are much better than Rampage. I'm just giving it to you, the good, the bad, and the ugly. He was clad in clothing inspired by the 1970s disco craze. Knee-deep in Lava Lamp Lounge, interview segments, it was the occasional hardcore brawls, such as double power bomb atop a Partridge Family-inspired bus against the Insane Clown Posse, that set Mike Awesome apart from the comical miscues that were being fired throughout the last remaining months in WCW. In the beginning of 2001, Awesome traded in the Bell Bottoms for the Maple Leaf in favor of a run with Team Canada, comprised of Lance Storm, Elix Skipper, and a cleanly shaven and repackaged Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Another lame attempt. Boy, did you try to ruin Duggan's legacy on that one. Really? What a disaster that was at the time for Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And don't think I forgot, Duggan, that you hit me with that 2x4. And whoever the radio DJ was with you that night hit me with the electric cattle prod. I didn't forget it, Duggan. Ho dees. How about that? Hacksaw, I love you, man. I'm just saying. I don't forget these feuds and rivalries with you guys. You may not remember them, but I'll never forget them. They're all right here on the channel. The proof is in the pudding. If I say it, take it to the bank of Wachovia. Sadly, his last big moment in the spotlight was having his mullet chopped off after losing a hair versus hair match against the already bald Conan. No me jodas, maricón, muévete, culo, pendejo, cabrón. Don't be offended, man. What I say, de nada, for all my Spanish-speaking friends out there. Conan was already bald. So 2024 and what AEW is doing and what Vince did in the WWE not that long ago was not exempt from the clowns here, whether it be ECW, WCW, the NWA, that we all had our time. Except maybe the NWA was a very solid, perhaps the best promotion and organization of all, especially through the 70s and 80s. Again, not to be shortchanged, the WWF in the 70s and 80s, phenomenal. Put the business where we are now. Of course, world class was unbelievable. The AWA was extremely solid for 2+ decades. And of course, I loved the territories when pro wrestling was pro wrestling. Focus, chaos. A few months later, Awesome was thrust into the Invasion storyline that was based on the real-life purchase of WCW by the WWF. In fact, on June 25th, 2001, Awesome became the first WCW invader to win gold in the WWE when he took advantage of the 24/7 rule and pinned a newly crowned Rhino for the now defunct, thank the Lord for that, WWE Hardcore Championship, which was pure garbage, in my opinion. Just giving you my views on someone that was in the business. That was pretty lame. Entertaining for some of you goons out there, I get it. No offense. After his departure from WWE in 2002, Awesome toiled in the independent wrestling scene for a few years until his appearance at 2005's ECW's One Night Stand reunion pay-per-view. Once again, it was Mike Awesome that stole the show with his unique combination of hard-hitting, high-flying mayhem. despite ECW staple Joey Styles referring to him as Judas, and the unwelcoming treatment he received from the opening bell. Awesome, along with Masato Tanaka, left the Hammerstein Ballroom that night, backed by the legions of ECW faithful, rightfully chanting, "This match rules." Instead of "you geeks nowadays, this is awesome. This is awesome." Could you take the pacifier out of your mouth? Go take a shower? No offense. If this doesn't apply to you, don't get offended. And if it does, well, then maybe you should look in the mirror. Mike Alfonso retired from pro wrestling in 2006, leaving behind a legacy of unforgettable moments as well as some less than memorable gimmicks. And although he left wrestling fans much too soon, his comeback at One Night Stand made us all forget the fat chick Thriller and remember just how awesome Mike Awesome truly was. Thank you guys and gals so much for being here. Before we get out of here, don't go anywhere yet. Plenty of time. 10 big men not as awesome as Mike Awesome. And we'll come up with this nondescript list. You let me know what you think. 10 big men not as awesome as Mike Awesome. Do your research. Answer spontaneously, whatever you want to do. 911 from ECW. The Giant Gonzalez. The Yeti. The Great Khali. Big Vito. Vito LaGrasso. I don't even think he belongs on this list because although a tough son of a bitch, he was not a big guy as compared to these others. Waylon Mercy. If you know who that was, let me know who you think you know if Waylon Mercy was. Scott Flash Norton. No one to be trifled with. Mobile, agile, hostile, and nimble. Scott Norton, one tough son of a bitch and a world champion arm wrestler. Van Hammer. Man Mountain Rock. Evod Sullivan. Just to name a few. I can go on and on. 10 wrestlers who would have made better stalkers of Undertaker's wife. Stalkers of Undertaker's wife than Diamond Dallas Page. Just to throw this in here for a little trivia at the end of Chaos Corner. At least this show. 10 wrestlers who would have made better stalkers of Undertaker's wife than Bang! DDP. The obvious. Kane. Mick Foley. Kurt Angle. Scott Hall. Rick Steiner. Prince Ayukea. Peha Hoa Mele Hirikane Pupule. Wiki Wiki. Aloha and Mahalo, especially the Wahine. You didn't think I'd pull that name out of the hat. Rowdy Roddy Piper. Perry Saturn. Lie, Cheat, and Steal Eddie Guerrero. How about Pete Rose? Rest in peace, Pete. You definitely belong in the Hall of Fame long before your passing. Just to throw some tidbits of information to get us to the 20-minute mark. I know that a lot of people out here have the brain of a dehydrated BB in this community and have the attention span of a gnat, but certainly not the people that come here. So I just wanted to give you a little more content. Come on back. We're not going anywhere. We're pumping it out. More shows, more entertainment personified. I'll say that to say this, because I tell it like it is. Because I tell it like it is. Queen, Austin, get ready to chat it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Some people say that when I hold my head back like this and you can see my nostrils, that it looks like a two-car garage. Or if you were to like lift me up by my ankles and hold me and I took a deep breath in, that I could be used for maybe a vacuum cleaner. What are they saying? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? Anyone? All right, are you ready, Austin? Are you ready? Tribal Queen? Are you still here, man? Don't you dare miss it.